Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce your MC for the evening, Karen Holmes Ward.
Down in front. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Whittier Street Health Center's Roast of David Long. For those of you that I've not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Karen Holmes Ward from WCVB Channel 5, and it is our great privilege to be here tonight to honor the work of David Long, Executive Chairman of the Board at Liberty Mutual, and to recognize the outstanding achievements made by Whittier Street Health Center. It's going to be a very exciting evening. We have lots ahead of us, so let's let the games, let's let the evening begin. To start, I'd like to introduce you to our presenters for this evening's events. First, let's welcome Frederica Williams, President and CEO of Whittier Street Health Center. In the last 20 years, she has worked with her dedicated team to implement innovative, culturally sensitive, and high-quality care to address the needs of marginalized and underserved communities. Under her leadership, Whittier has been transformed into a centerpiece in the city and a national model. Her keen vision, passion, and dedication has positioned Whittier as a leader in urban health care with a crucial focus on the importance of health equity, social justice, and economic equality. Next, our roasters for this evening. Joe Nolan, Chairman, President, and CEO of Eversource Energy. Joe was Whittier's 2022 honoree and a long-term friend and supporter of Whittier. He is the Chairman, President, and CEO of Eversource Energy. Eversource Energy is a Fortune 500 and Standard & Poor's 500 energy company based in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire, and it operates New England's largest energy delivery system. Under Joe's leadership, Eversource is committed to safety, reliability, environmental leadership, and stewardship, and expanding energy options for the 3.7 million electric and national gas customers. He also serves on the boards of directors of the New England Council, Chairman's Council, Boston Children's Hospital, Intercontinental Real Estate Corporation in Long Island, New York, and the Francis Ouimet Scholarship Fund, also Camp Harborview Foundation, and Cradles to Crayons. Our second roaster is Tim Sweeney, President and CEO of Liberty Mutual Insurance. Before being appointed to this role on January 1st, 2023, Tim served as President of Liberty Mutual, overseeing the company's 3 global business units, spanning personal and small commercial insurance, reinsurance, and commercial and specialty insurance, and the internal management of Liberty Mutual's global financial assets. Since joining Liberty Mutual in 1993 as a director in the corporate strategy group, Tim has held leadership roles of increasing responsibility that have been the foundation of Liberty Mutual's growth. He currently serves on the board of the directors of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, the Statue of Liberty Ellis Island Foundation, Incorporated, and the Massachusetts Business Roundtable. Our third roaster is Frank Doyle, former president and CEO of the Connell Limited Partnership. For over 20 years, until his recent retirement, Frank was chairman and CEO of Connell Limited Partnership, a global manufacturer operating in the plastics, warehouse automation, automotive, appliance, and industrial equipment industries. In addition, Frank oversaw a $1 billion investment portfolio. Frank is a trustee of Boston College, where he received a BS and an MBA and was awarded the Carroll Graduate School of Management's Distinguished Achievement Award. Now the fourth And final roaster of the night is Steve Long. And you may have guessed it, he is the brother of tonight's roastee. Steve has spent over 35 years in the packaging industry and is currently Director of Quality for Rand Whitney Worcester, which is an independently owned and operated by the Kraft Group. Born in Liverpool, England, he is the oldest of 4 children of James and Frances Long. A little bit more about that later. He came to the United States on a soccer scholarship to Hartwick College in the state of New York, where he played on their NCAA Division I National Championship team. All right, let's hear it for that. NCAA Division I, thank you. Upon graduating from Hartwick College, Steve played professional soccer with the Pennsylvania Stoners before starting his career in packaging. All right, you know, this is a sports night. So Frederica said, I gotta make sure I blow my whistle, right, Frederica? Yes. Okay, all right, everybody. Now, it's time for everybody to stand and announce our honoree. Please stand, blow those whistles. It is my pleasure to introduce you to this evening's honoree. Let's get loud because it's going to be a long night. He's a Liverpool native, champion of health equity and social justice, and tonight's honoree, David H. Long, Executive Chairman of the Board of Liberty Mutual Insurance. Yes. Liberty Mutual's #1 player, David Long. All right, we'll have our head table take a seat as I introduce our first guest. She really needs no introduction. She is a force of nature, a mover and a shaker, and a fighter for health care and health equity for Boston's most vulnerable residents. Most of us know her to be a tireless worker and a humble spirit who is always grateful for the good people and the good work done on behalf of Whittier Street Health Center. Please welcome the person responsible for this gathering this evening, Ms. Frederica Williams, President and CEO of the Whittier Street Health Center. Am I doing it right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Whittier Street Health Center, I am delighted to welcome you to our annual gala. Tonight, we come together for the roast of David H. Long, Chairman of the Board and past Chief Executive of Liberty Mutual Insurance. I am proud to call David a friend, and because I'd like to maintain that friendship, I'm going to let the fellows do the roasting. David, don't worry. Only nice things to say for my end. So let's get started. David Long is a very special man. Over his 4-decade career, he has fought for health equity, workplace equity, equal opportunity, and inclusion in every setting. He truly believes in these ideals, and more importantly, he has used his position and his power to make them happen. Liberty Mutual Insurance is a very special company, a giant in the global insurance industry, and a trailblazer in the world of corporate social responsibility. David Long had a lot to do with that, and we're going to hear all about it tonight. I am so excited to honor him and to hear from his brother and friends and to celebrate his legacy of good. Of course, there's another reason we're here. We want to celebrate and thank all of you. This is Whittier's largest annual fundraiser, and the communities we serve very much count on your generosity. We are so grateful, and we promise to put your gifts to work as we mobilize for health justice and social justice. Thank you for your support. We're so happy you're here. Now, before we get to David, let me tell you a little bit about Whittier Street Health Center. Our mission is to serve as a center of excellence in pursuit of health equity, social justice, and the economic well-being of our diverse patients. As a community health center, we care for some of Boston's most vulnerable individuals and families. Many of our patients have to contend with social determinants of health. These determinants or barriers are the economic, social, and environmental disadvantages that impact a person's health and life expectancy. The people we care for, they can't just jump in the car, go to a doctor's appointment, and get back to work. For many, if they miss work, they don't get paid. Some don't have reliable transportation, especially if they have a disability. Many have unstable housing. Some can't fill their prescriptions because they can't afford the copay. Many of our patients have experienced trauma. In fact, last year, our pediatrics department was seeing children as young as 6 struggling with anxiety and depression. Think about that, 6 years old. The problem of health inequities is deep-rooted, multi-generational, and immensely complex. So let me tell you how Whittier approaches it. In a nutshell, we offer many types of healthcare and social services in many different settings. We don't just diagnose, we care for the whole person. You'll see that in our video tonight. And if you'd like to learn more, I encourage you to pick up a copy of our annual report on your way out. Last fiscal year, we cared for 30,000 people. And we reached that number by meeting people where they are. Our main care setting, naturally, is on-site at our clinics. We have our flagship building on Tremont Street and our satellite clinic on Blue Hill Ave. If patients can make it in, we offer telehealth appointments as well as remote patient monitoring. To reach as many young people as possible, we go to schools. Whittier has partnerships with 6 schools already, and we just this month opened a new health clinic on-site at the Boston Day and Evening Academy. Why do we do this? Because the research tells us that when we integrate health services into the academic environment, we help young people stay in school, cope with stressors, and learn to value their own health and well-being. I'm sure you're all familiar with the issues at Mass and Cass that is in our neighborhood. Last year, we opened the Day Engagement Center at Whittier to provide support to the homeless. This is a facility that unhoused people can visit when they need a safe and welcoming drug-free space. It's staffed by a team, all trauma-informed professionals working full-time with compassion to deliver healthcare and recovery services. And the last way we reach people is by hitting the road. Whittier has 4 fully equipped mobile health vans that make stops at apartment complexes, places of worship, and community hotspots. Once there, our mobile team gets to work. They offer preventative care, vaccines, medical screenings, dental care, and new in 2023, they're now screening for depression and substance abuse too. Speaking of 2023, we have news to share. The Biden-Harris administration recently named Whittier as just one of 22 health centers in the country to receive funding through its Cancer Moonshot initiative. This grant will help us save lives in communities of color by improving and expanding access to cancer care. Thank you. So that's what we do and where. But how do we offer support and hope to the people in our community? It starts by building trust. We have a sensitive, culturally competent care team that takes the time to find out what's going on in our patients' lives. We break down barriers, fight stigma, and give people the support they need to improve their health and home life. The last thing I'll say about Whittier is that we are innovators. However, innovation isn't a given in the community health space. It's extra. And innovation doesn't happen in community health without private support and fundraising. At Whittier, we use this funding to follow the science. Your investments allows us to think creatively, test new ideas, and do the most good. And when we get results, our methods are validated, and we are entrusted to do even more. So a round of applause, please, for our supporters. Thank you for investing in community health innovation. And now, let's turn our eyes to the guest of honor, our friend David Long, Chairman of the Board for Liberty Mutual Insurance. As a business leader, David shaped Liberty Mutual into the 6th largest property and casualty insurance in the world, a $49 billion organization ranking number 78 on the Fortune 100. Impressive numbers, without a doubt. But what I want to talk about even more tonight is David, the humanitarian, a man who shepherded his company's philanthropy, workplace culture, and efforts to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. David helped define Liberty Mutual's identity and values, and he has always embodied them. He put people first, and he did his best to give all team members, regardless of background, an opportunity to climb the ranks like he did. Stories abound of David listening and learning with humility and respect. After the murder of George Floyd, David consulted with Black leaders in the company for perspective on how to lead during those terrible days. He personally checked in with Asian American colleagues to understand their safety concerns following a rise in hate after the pandemic. He led discussions on mental health, showed up for people in moments of personal loss, and did his best to be the most senior ally to everyone. Let's talk about how David helped transform his company. Well, he quadrupled Liberty Mutual's charitable giving. He supported the creation of Liberty Torchbearers, which encourages employees to support causes they care about. He sent forth countless ripples of hope to people in our community who matter but are rarely seen and heard. People like young adults in Dorchester, formerly homeless, now residing in Liberty House, getting back on their feet. David provides support to Aspire, a Mass General for Children's program that specializes in helping children, teens, and adults on the autism spectrum achieve success. In every instance, David didn't just meet with the nonprofit leaders, he talked to the recipients of their services, again, to listen and learn and to ask, how can I be your ally? Yet another piece of David's legacy is Liberty Mutual's Office of Sustainability, which allowed the company to showcase the great work they do in DEI and to lead more formally on environmental, social, and governance transformation. Put it all together, the listening, the learning, the action, the allyship, the investments, and it's no wonder that Liberty Mutual has been named Best Place to Work, a People magazine company that cares, and a member of the Civic 50, recognizing the most community-minded companies in the nation. So David, this may be the only time you'll be smiling. Your friends and colleagues know you for being humble, empathetic, and down to earth. You have been the heart and soul of Liberty Mutual, and all of us at Whittier appreciate your sincere, heartfelt work to better our community and model the best of humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a big round of applause for our honoree, David Long. We look forward to continuing the tribute later tonight. Now, I would like to acknowledge the people that brought us together tonight. First, our Roast Committee. We are grateful for your leadership and support. We're especially grateful to our Roasters, Joe Nolan, Tim Sweeney, Steve Long, and Frank Doyle. To our Roast Mistress with the mostest, Karen Holmes Ward, for being our MC tonight, or our referee tonight. Thanks to our friend John Kim for being our video presenter, and to John Stone for that fabulous music to which David danced to when he was coming in. We are also grateful to Raffinelli Events and the Boston Park Plaza Hotel. I would also like to thank my amazing colleagues at Whittier for the skills and compassion you show every day on behalf of our patients. And finally, thanks to our volunteers, including those from Liberty Mutual Torchbearers, for your hard work to make this evening a success. A round of applause for everyone. Now, I would like to acknowledge our generous sponsors. These organizations and individuals really came through, and I thank them on behalf of the people we serve. First, we have our title sponsor, Liberty Mutual Insurance. Our presenting sponsors, Brewer Lane Ventures, Eversource Energy, David and Stephanie Long, Tim Sweeney, and Vertex Pharmaceuticals. Our lead sponsors, Vlad Babalat, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, Jim and Mary George, Tom and Donna May, and Mass Mutual. Thanks to our benefactors, New England Development and Lee Olivier. Finally, we thank our generous patrons and contributors whose names are scrolling on the screen, and you also find printed in the program booklet. Because of your investments in public health, Whittier will do more. We will expand our footprint and care for more people. We will forge new partnerships and launch even more programs based on evidence-based guidelines. We will promote healthy behaviors and reduce the burden of diseases in our neighborhoods. And we will give people hope. None of it happens without supporters like you. So again, thank you for your care and generosity. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you another friend of ours, John Kim, our video presenter for this evening. John is the founder and managing partner at Brewer Lane Ventures, former president and chief investment officer of New York Life Insurance, and a dear friend of David Long. John, please join me at the podium. Thank you.
Frederica, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing? Good? We're going to liven things up a little bit here. We are all gathered tonight to honor our good friend David Long and to shine a light on the good work done by one of Boston's community-based healthcare and social services organization, Whittier Street Health Center. But before I make some important comments about Whittier, please allow me to talk about David here. I have to admit, when Frederica asked me to participate in the roast, I thought I was going to be a roaster. I already had mentally noted my roast comments here, but to my shock and surprise, Frederica asked me to make some formal comments about Whittier and be a video presenter. Never in my life did I ever imagine I would be a video presenter. Has anybody been a video presenter? It is not on the bucket list of anybody, right? So I thought to myself here, is this like, why does she select me over a Nolan, a Sweeney, a Doyle, or a Long to roast, and not a Kim? Wrong last name, perhaps? Because I'm younger and a lot better looking than the roasters? Do you have to be a closer or distant relative of the roastee? You know what? Only Frederica and God could answer that question. Sorry, Frederica, that's redundant, right? So I determined that the real answer is that I've spent much of my career in the insurance industry, as has David. And being fun and funny are not in our DNA. For if you know Dave Long, you know that perception is absolutely reality, isn't it? You know that in the insurance world here, companies are full of actuaries. They're basically high-priced mathematicians here. Did you know that most actuaries really wanted to be accountants, but they didn't have the personality? And for the longest time, and I'm actually on serious on this one, I thought David was an actuary. Well, thank you for enjoying the appetizer portion of the roast here, and on to perhaps more important comments here. As all of you are aware, Whittier serves vulnerable communities in Greater Boston and addresses some of the most pressing concerns for health and social inequalities in our city. Tonight, we have the unique opportunity to hear directly from Whittier patients and providers. You'll hear about what the health center means to them and about the role that Whittier plays in helping them to maintain and advance healthy choices in their lives. The following video will illustrate the work that Whittier is doing to advance health equity and social justice in the communities that it serves. It's a relatively long video, but a very important one, and I'll ask you to keep your attention until you hear the important operative comment about why we are here tonight. One part is clearly to honor and roast a dear friend, a colleague, a mentor to many of us here. But more importantly, it is The intent and good words are not enough, so just wait for those words to be spoken in the video. Intent and good words are not enough. On to the video, please.
It means a lot to be Whittier in 2023. It means imagining the possible, imagining justice, imagining what is right here in our own great city. We see and hear about injustice all over the world, from Memphis to Minneapolis to Haiti to many parts of Africa. But all that we see and hear around the world is also happening here in Boston. Given our wealth and resources, there's no excuse. It's unconscionable that there is a 20-year life expectancy difference between Boston's poorer neighborhoods and our wealthier neighborhoods. We should all be outraged at this difference. And at the same time, we should also be hopeful that it can be fixed. Whittier serves as a beacon of hope, creating opportunities for our patients to live healthier lives and reaching their full potential. It also means making sure patients in the community regard Whittier as a trusted partner.
The mission of the Whittier Street Health Center is to address health equity, social justice, and the economic well-being of its diverse patients. 27% of Whittier patients are uninsured, but no patient is denied care regardless of their ability to pay. 100% of social service programs that address the barriers to wellness are free.
This is a community that has a lot of needs. So to be able to be in this community and to have an opportunity to make a difference is huge.
My focus here started as HIV, and that's still what I mostly do. Our team, which consists of myself as the physician, a full-time nurse, and several case managers, and then community outreach people, work hard at trying to identify people with HIV and get them into care, and then once they're into care, keep them in care. And it's my goal to provide all of the patients here that need infectious disease care with state-of-the-art infectious disease care that's equal in quality to what they would receive anyplace else. And in order to do that, we have to go and meet people where they are in many cases and make the extra effort to see to it that they receive that care. By means such as, going to their houses to give them their medicines, picking them up to bring them to their appointments, going out to Mass and Cass and bringing them here.
The Day Engagement Center opened its doors as a safe place for the homeless. Whittier vans provide transport from Mass and Cass and Nubian Square. Here, they can receive supports or just be in a safe and respectful place.
It's a place for you to come that we just opened up. You need to come
What I
there.
say? I'll be here.
And she said, I'll be there, I promise you. I said, now don't promise me, promise yourself.
Nobody's born saying they want to become an addict. We got to think about that. Everybody has a story. They're human beings. And I think that's why they like coming here. It's like I treat them like individuals.
Cereal. You want cereal too, bro? Yeah.
Daily, we give them breakfast. We have some type of computer, like I'll teach them how to use a computer, how to use their emails, and that way they have, an access to see where their housing status is. We have an ESR group, Early Support Recovery group, and like at least 5 of my clients have been going to the early support group, and it's been going really good. I love helping people. It just gives me such a great feeling. When I accomplish something, when I help somebody accomplish a goal or something, it just gives me a great feeling. I can't explain it.
The teamwork at Whittier is extraordinary. This is Angel. She came to Whittier after experiencing panic attacks. Dr. Wright and Brenda were her support team.
It was during a class session that you just hear, wow, school closed, students need to get home in the middle of a class. And that really had an impact on me then, but I just helped my children to exit easily. And then over the months, we spent time at home doing learning from home with the students. And so then the call came back to go back to school. And being very energized, I went back to school, but it was not the same.
And she was having difficulty integrating back into the classroom, likely due to that traumatic event. She may have felt that it was going to happen again. She may have felt stress or anxiety. She may not have felt safe.
When I first met Angel, it was very clear that she was experiencing acute trauma symptoms, very classic, lots of anxiety.
She was able to provide an environment that was safe for Ms. Simpson. She rendered treatment through various therapies.
In addition to traditional therapy, Brenda encouraged Angel to join the 1290 Club, Whittier's social support for seniors, and work in their public garden. This garden also provides homegrown food for the food pantry.
So I would come there every Wednesday. I would meet with the people and do the planting of everything. And that begins to release a lot of stress. It's just like, it helps soothe your body.
A lot of the individuals we see here at Whittier have gone through a lot of trauma, chronic trauma, years of trauma. And to be able to come to a place where they can feel safe and get the support that they need to help them and guide them so that they can live better lives gives me great satisfaction.
Meet Ja. They receive counseling from Brenda.
I want people to know that I'm non-binary, that my pronouns are they, them, and my name is Ja.
A 2020 survey conducted by the Center for American Progress states that experiences in healthcare, housing, and education show that LGBTQ people of color encounter heightened discrimination.
It's somewhat difficult for them in terms of coming out and admitting or, feeling like they're safe to say, this is how I identify or this is how I do not identify.
I feel like Brenda understands me, and Brenda kind of just eases. She lets me tell her what I want to tell her, and then we'll ease later into the rest of the stuff, and I appreciate that.
I have seen the potential to go on and to be an amazing person, to be an amazing educator, as well as a strong advocate for the LGBTQ community.
I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher so bad, like so bad. And I don't want to be a teacher to teach kids. I want to be a teacher to make kids confident, to make them love themselves. That's what teaching is about.
So this is pretty much how your schedule is looking like for the rest of the day.
Dr. Robin Mayfield's dedication sets up her patients for success through telehealth and culturally competent care.
Culturally competent care is incredibly important because it is what is necessary in order for patients to understand what's going on, in order for them to develop a sense of trust.
Dr. Mayfield is an excellent doctor, very thorough, calm, takes her time.
When I first met him, he didn't recognize that a lot of the symptoms he had were secondary to diabetes, and so he would want to treat the symptom.
Through the new telehealth remote monitoring at Whittier, Everest can have his glucose levels monitored, making his diabetes manageable.
I have a monitor right here, right on my arm, and I've had it for almost 6 or 7 months. Thanks to my doctor, Dr. Robin Mayfield.
Success with my patients, to me, means that we're able to connect as people. It's incredibly rewarding when I see changes in behavior, that, lifestyle changes which aren't easy to make, and also changes in numbers that prove that we're making a difference in their lives.
The experts at Whittier are ever evolving to find ways to create better avenues of success for the community that they serve. School-based clinics, mobile programs, satellite clinics, and home visits, just to name a few. The workforce training program works to increase the earning potential of the community. Meet John. He started at the Whittier Street Health Center as an intern in human resources. He was a student at the Cristo Rey High School and a graduate of Lincoln Tech. He is now a full-time medical assistant in Whittier's pediatrics department.
Whittier is a good place to come. We care about every person who walks through this door.
Presented with the opportunity, John reaches out to peers to help them find a path to success, just like he did at Whittier.
I have a couple patients who are close to my age and don't know what to do with their lives, and they want to become a medical assistant or become in a medical field. And I tell them, like, hey, you're almost your age, I did this, I did that. So they're like, oh, so it's good to motivate them and give them ideas of what to do and how to, start their journey to become in the medical field.
Say hi to the camera.
I realized that I was the only person in my family to be in the medical field, so I wanted to, make sure I did everything I can, do my best to make my family, happy and proud, and here I am now.
The return on investment at Whittier is so high. They do so much with so little. But given the mission at hand, if we really want to solve health inequity, if we really want to improve life expectancy, we need to give of our resources. Intent and good words are not enough. If you believe in Whittier's mission, my wife Annetta and I believe we have a moral obligation to do something, to give of ourselves and resources. Hopefully you might feel the same, and we really believe that one person at a time can really make a difference.
Mobilizing for healthcare equity and social justice, one person, one family at a time. We are the Whittier Street Health Center.
Intent and good words are not enough. Intent and good words are not enough. We all have the opportunity tonight to support Whittier's mission and its movement to improve health quality, equity, and social justice. This is our call to action to all of our friends here tonight. We're so grateful to so many of you for your generosity by being here, and any support you can provide going forward would be greatly appreciated. You have QR codes for the technology-enabled donation cards at the center of the table for you to now contribute even more than you already have. We would appreciate that. We've got volunteers from both Whittier and Liberty Mutual torchbearers who are on the floor who will collect these cards. You can feel absolutely confident in knowing that your support will help directly curb poverty and have significant effect on the mental and physical well-being of a person, both young and old, any gender, race, or religion. Did you know that at Whittier, we serve 30% of the patients who are uninsured? You don't have to actually answer this question, but I ask this question rhetorically. In this room, which of you are uninsured? I think I know the answer to that. In addition, 100% of the important health equity services and special programs that Whittier offers are not covered by insurance. So we rely on you, our generous donors, to address health equity, social justice, and the economic inequalities impacting the lives of our most vulnerable patients. As you saw in the video, Whittier empowers those who come through its doors with education and prevention strategies. Whittier never falters from the ongoing effort to equip its clientele with tools necessary to lead a healthy, vibrant lives. Your donation will go to the services and the programs essential to rejuvenating the individual who call Whittier their patient-centered home. You all remember Jerry Maguire, right? As Rod said at Jerry Maguire, Jerry, show me the money. Guess what? You all get to be Jerry Maguire tonight. So I say to you, Jerry, show me the money. Thank you.
That was something. That was something. Thank you for that rousing music. And thank you to everyone who made a donation, a contribution to Whittier Street Health Center. All those contributions, very much appreciated. And John, I want to say to you, you are a top-notch video presenter. Top-notch, top-notch. But now, as we prepare for the kickoff to tonight's roast, let me share with you the inspiration behind tonight's theme. You all may be wondering why I'm talking in my high school sports announcer voice. Well, you like it? Yeah. All right. Well, for my friends here in the States, we are celebrating a football theme. Someplace else, I think they call it soccer, right? Well, we want to first toast and get ready to roast David Roots and his interests. And what better way to do that with this theme that the Whittier Center has developed tonight. Since David came to the States as on a soccer scholarship, what better way to honor his love of the sport of the English Premier League team Liverpool and his hometown than transporting you all to a Liverpool pub. I think you noticed the plaid tablecloths. We've got a theme going here. Do you think we're carrying out the theme, David? Looking good, he says. Okay. All right. Now, our MVP is going to be getting roasted on the pitch tonight, but we also want to raise our glasses to him, our champion of health equity and social justice, for his great support and leadership. Cheers to David. Cheer, cheer. All right, everyone. That's enough of me talking here. Let me get going. Let me blow my whistle. It's time for us to roast David Long. And just a reminder here, if you see David, hold up a red or yellow penalty card. The roaster also must give a toast to David. You see those cards? Red and yellow, he's got them, ready to go. Please welcome tonight's first roaster, representing Manchester United Football Club and Eversource's chairman, president, and CEO, Joe Nolan.
Wow, is it great to be here tonight and not be the victim? I don't know what David's going to do without his security blanket, Stephanie, here tonight, but I hear she's in on a live feed right now. That's what I'm told. So thank you all for coming. As co-chair, I want to thank Frederica and the team at Whittier Street for all they do for underserved communities of Boston. I also want to thank the sponsors and all of you who have made tonight possible. Let's give the servers and the staff of the Boston Park Plaza a round of applause. I'm most thankful for not being the recipient of the slings and arrows this evening because I'm still recovering from last year's event. Now, we'll turn our attention to David Long, who was my friend and a colleague in the Eversource Board of Trustees. As many of you know, David is a private person. He's rather modest, but I've learned some dirt on him that I'd really love to share with all of you tonight. I know David has some yellow cards he can use to cry foul if speakers get out of hand, but if David gets unruly during my presentation, I have the ultimate weapon, the red card, and I'm not going to be afraid to use it to throw you out of here. Do you understand me, David? As many of you know, David is a native of Liverpool, England, the home of the Beatles. David's time as a member of the Fab Five was cut short because they decided they didn't need a kazoo player. David's biggest contribution was suggesting that the song Let It Be should instead be titled, Let It Be Underwritten in a financially prudent way, conservatively structured, and 100% de-risked and depreciated. Ringo just couldn't wrap his head around that idea. He was supposed to be on the famous cover of Sgt. Pepper's album. Obviously, he didn't get the memo about the dress code. He was a little too buttoned up for this bunch, so they couldn't use him after all. From Liverpool, David came to America to attend Hartwick College. David was so good at soccer and such a big man on the campus that his yearbook included a whole page that was a tribute to David. Seriously, no joke. Who has that? Who else can say that about themselves? Oh, by the way, his dear wife Stephanie apparently chaired the yearbook committee. David really did meet Stephanie at Hartwick, and let's face it, who couldn't resist a man with such a fine mullet? David's in the Hartwick Hall of Fame for his skills on the soccer field. His mullet has its own separate place in the Hall of Fame. After getting his degree, David took a job shoveling gravel in South Boston. You know, David says it was just him, another guy, a wheelbarrow, and 36 tons of gravel. This apparently made David reconsider the value of a Hartwick degree. So he went off to Boston College to get his master's. David got his master's at Boston College 2 years after I got my MBA there. After I left, they clearly opened the doors to just about anyone who came along. David also landed a job at Liberty Mutual. Now, I think a lot of people would actually find shoveling gravel more interesting than working in the insurance industry. When David first became an executive in Boston, you know, he visited the Museum of Fine Arts, you know, like all executives do, for a little culture, and he accidentally knocked over a bone-chase vase. The museum director said to him, "You just broke a 600-year-old vase." And David quipped with his wry British accent, "Thank God for depreciation. I thought it was brand new." David's famous contribution to society is probably the Liberty Emu. Or to be more specific, the Limu Emu and his buddy Doug. Who could forget Doug? You know, when David came up with the idea, I reached out to him. You know, I said, "You know, David, you're an old friend," and I asked him if I could play a role in the ads. See that? Huh? Still, I think they made a mistake. They made the wrong choice. I would have been perfect for the job. It's a little-known fact that David used to race emus in England. I agree it's a cruel British sport, and we wouldn't do it over here in America. You know, when they started this campaign, David did push hard to get an on-camera role for himself. He really wanted to be in the ads. It didn't work out, though. Everybody said he looked ridiculous in the emu costume. Now that David has retired from the day-to-day of Liberty Mutual, you might wonder what's next for him. Well, his first love of soccer has come knocking again. If you didn't know, Ted Lasso is in his last season. But there's gonna be a spin-off called Long the Liverpoolian. And David is gonna play the head hooligan of the Liverpool Football Club fans. I'm sure he'll do a fine job. You know, he even got a tattoo to show his allegiance. You know, we've had some fun tonight at David's expense, But before I close, I'd like to say something serious. David and Stephanie Long are renowned for the years of support and leadership for so many causes, including the Aspire program and the Common Room to help young people on the autism spectrum. They've raised more than $20 million for this program. David has done so much for Whittier Street, helping them bring quality health care to the people of Boston. You could say that the young man who used to move gravel is now moving heaven and earth to help others. Thank you, David, for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that, Joe. What do you think, group? Is it Joe 1, David 0? What do you think? I don't know. Next up is a man who was mentored by David and now sits at the CEO desk at Liberty, now representing Arsenal Football Club. Please join me in welcoming David's good friend and colleague, Tim Sweeney, President and CEO of Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Joe, I wish I was a roaster last year. You know what's more exciting than the utility business? I would rather be the gravel getting shoveled. I thought the Liberty Mutual people in the first few tables were going to charge the stage. Come on, Dave. It was more exciting to be an insurance guy, right? Absolutely. All right. Dave's still my executive chairman of Liberty Mutual, so I have to be maybe a little bit careful. But
why start now?
So I've known David for a long time, and I can give a rated G version or a rated PG-13 version. Any preferences out there? Oh, R, yeah. That's Frank Doyle, he's next. No, I'm delighted to be here to honor and celebrate truly my mentor, my role model, and my treasured friend of 25 years. As Joe said, a remarkable leader, so deeply committed to the most vulnerable among us in Boston, and an amazing leader of Liberty Mutual. Okay, enough with that nonsense. So our story starts 25 years ago. Hey. Okay, give a shout out if you think I have aged better. This is the first known photo of me and David in my archives, and you'll never guess what we're doing. It was our first business trip together ever. We're in Orlando, Florida. We went to Epcot Center. I wanted some cultural stimulation, and David said, let's drink beer around the world. So we drank beer around the world. We stopped in every country, and we sampled the beers of the world, which was just a precursor for actually traveling around the real world, drinking beer and helping David to build Liberty Mutual into what it is today. Speaking of beer, you're getting a little bit of a theme here. Anyone remember Richards that was on Stewart Street back in the day? Oh, I heard some, oh yes. Really cheap pitchers of beer, stale, popcorn. David and I used to, wrestle with the issues of the day at Richards a couple times a week, and it was, as I said, really cheap pitchers and really stale popcorn. And, I guess you could say when you went to Richards, you only paid for what you needed, right? But then tragically, Richards closed. So we had to go upscale a little bit to Grill 23, which became our go-to. I think people might know that. And David became such a fixture there. Norm and Cheers? Well, he was such a fixture at Grill 23 that they renamed it. Overpay for what you need, Dave. Maybe Geico, Progressive, a little bit, yeah. Sorry, Joe, this is insurance humor. We can talk gravel later. So, as Joe mentioned, despite all that David has achieved, he still remembers his humble roots in Liverpool, England. You know, they call themselves something fancy called Liverpudlians, but they're actually just hooligans, and I know that firsthand. Has anyone ever been to Liverpool besides you, Steve? Okay, a few people have been to Liverpool. I've been to Liverpool exactly once. I stayed, I think, in one of the nicer hotels in Liverpool. Dave's dad and his brother-in-law drove me around town sightseeing. Then we stopped at the Liverpool Yacht Club, oxymoron, perhaps, and we got kicked out because we weren't members. So I've been kicked out of the Liverpool Yacht Club with Dave's dad. That evening, he wasn't a member, I know. Yeah. I've been kicked out of worse places than that. That evening, I met in the hotel bar of this nice hotel I thought that I was staying in. I met Dave's two sisters and his mom and his dad. We had a couple beers together, shocker. It seems to run in the family, I don't know. And Dave's mom and dad left a little bit early, and when his mom was leaving, it was dark, it was late out, she said, you know, Tim, when the girls are ready to go, her daughters, could you walk them to the car? And I said, of course I will, of course. And then, about half hour later after they left, this massive brawl breaks out among hooligans in the bar in this nice hotel, and Dave's sister leans over to me and says, maybe we should walk you to your room. So all of the Longs have that sharp wit, but it was my only experience in Liverpool. I saw a hooligan brawl in a fancy hotel bar, and so the rest is history. It's a pretty tough place, Liverpool, and that's coming from a guy from Lowell, of course. Thank you, shout it out. The hooligans aren't the brightest bulbs. That one speaks for itself. A headline news article in the local paper when I was visiting, when I was, deadbolted into my hotel room. So luckily Dave was one of the brighter hooligans and made it over to the US. And Joe, another thing you got all wrong. Yes, the Beatles, the original boy band, are from Liverpool. Yes, David made an attempt as being the fifth Beatle, but what actually got him booted out, and you guys can fact check this, I know you have your phones with you. The Beatles did a song at David's behest when he was the fifth Beatle called Long, Long, Long. Do you know that, Dave? So I want you to Google that, and you'll see that I'm right. The Beatles actually did a song called Long, Long, Long. And then on your way home, listen to it. Worst song ever. Worst Beatles song ever. It'll put you to sleep. So David quickly abandoned the UK music scene, and he came to the US in 1979, I think 79, Dave, yeah, roughly. And he kind of got a big dose of American culture, and he's got this weird fascination with country music. You probably heard some Kenny Chesney music playing. Kenny Chesney is his favorite artist in the US, and so interesting, but not too strange. What is strange about David's musical taste is when it comes to karaoke, he strays a little bit into the underbelly of American culture, and he knows where I'm going with this. Dave's go-to karaoke song when I met him was Monster Mash.
He did the Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash.
Am I wrong? Anyhow, I don't know if it was the catchy tune that caught David's attention. I'm sure he performed it well, or the zombie dance that they did during. Oh wait, it definitely was not dance. David hates to dance. Hates to dance. This is the single time ever that I saw David dance. I swung Stephanie around. Stephanie, if you're out there watching, I swung her around so many dance floors while this guy slinked off to get a beer. Maybe in a couple minutes he'll...
Take a look at my face.
Look at that face. He's so happy. Yeah, yeah. Maybe he'll dance his way up to the podium and give us a little graveyard smash in a couple minutes there, do you think? Anyone want to hear that? So there's also this weird language called Liverpudlian, and David for a long time has used terms like whistle and flute. That means suit and tie, so I guess we're in a whistle and flute tonight. Bevy is beer, knackered is tired, footy is soccer, clobber is clothes, fill your boots whack is good health, my friend. But my favorite is, this is Liverpudlian. David often said to me, damn it, Tim, what the hell are you doing? Which is Liverpudlian for great job, Tim, keep up the great work. So as we talked about, David's a huge fan of Liverpool Football Club. And if you look around, as was said, you can see all the evidence of that. But in the most uncanny of coincidences, when I've watched Liverpool games on Saturday mornings with Dave, the crowd breaks out into their chant, their fan chant, and David sings along. Liverpool, 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 Liverpool. Does that ring a bell with anyone? So as Joe said, David was an All-American soccer player. He played professionally for the New York Arrows, yes, on Long Island. Steph had different ideas. She told him to hang up his football boots and get a real job. So that's when Joe, he moved into the glamorous world of insurance. And as you'd expect, Steph was over the moon, insurance. So instead of bend it with Beckham, we got liability with Long. Best picture I could find of you, Dave. So David has, in the insurance business, had a distinguished career, 38 years, and for the last decade or more, 12 years or so, he was at the helm of the ship. He was our skipper, if you will, of Liberty Mutual. And like I said earlier, I was David's eager understudy and pupil. He showed me the ropes, teaching me how to steer the ship. And it took me a while, but finally, just a few months ago, I was finally able to wrestle the helm away from him when he retired at the end of last year. And you know, it's only been a little over 3 months. I'm still hoping he doesn't pull a Tom Brady on me. But I didn't have to really wrestle it away because I know what David's kryptonite is. And I just brought some pickles into the room, and he immediately let go of the wheel. Where's my friend? Oh, right on cue. So I have some pickles as a parting gift in honor of David. He's literally afraid of pickles, literally afraid of pickles. He gets a sandwich with chips, crisps, and a pickle comes. He emphatically asks when I've had lunch with him, the wait person, don't bring pickles. And if the pickle touches his bread, he sends the whole sandwich off, sends the whole sandwich back. And he whines and he whines and he whines. I said no pickles. So I tell the waiter to just bring him another bottle to go with his new sandwich and his pickles. So now that David has graduated as the skipper of Liberty Mutual and sails off, as Gilligan now, because Steph will be taking the helm from now on, David will spend more time with his family. Steph, Haley, and Oliver, and his no-good brother Steve, who you'll hear from in a minute, who's in one of those pictures. He will take up his retirement throne.
That's actually real.
Yes, it is. That's not a doctored picture. I've got some archives. In his retirement throne, he will do 3 to 4 beloved crossword puzzles every day. He might even take some risk now that he's out of the insurance business and do them in pen rather than pencil. But at some point, David will come across a crossword puzzle that has a theme that is about his career and his life. And it will have words like brilliant, kind, humble, witty, and loyal. These are the words that describe my friend and my mentor and my role model, David Long. Oh, forgot one. I'm not done yet. Almost.
No, you are.
Yeah, no, I am. So anyway, I'll wrap up. But you know, I have to mention Whittier in the great organization that they are. David has always done so much, as you've heard, for the vulnerable in our community. During his time as CEO, he drove a 4-fold increase in our charitable and philanthropic giving. Over a decade in the CEO seat, Liberty Mutual donated over $500 million to charities, and that was through David's leadership. And thank you, Frederica, for all you do, and all you described as a wonderful video, and the work that you do is just amazing. So between his leadership of Liberty Mutual and the big role he's played in the community, I have some big shoes to fill. I will end with the real anthem of Liverpool, "You'll Never Walk Alone." And I will say that I have never walked alone. People at Liberty have never walked alone. The vulnerable of Boston have never walked alone. David's family has never walked alone. And Whittier has never walked alone with David engaged. So thank you, David. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tim. It's safe to say, you know, we're all going to get David pickles for Christmas. He didn't even want to touch that jar. And Steve was over here scrunching up his face, too. Is this a family thing? I don't know. Okay. Next, we have a man who's held leadership roles at several leading companies, namely Connell Limited Partnership and PricewaterhouseCoopers for over 20 years, representing Tottenham Football Club. Please welcome Frank Doyle, former chairman and CEO of Connell Limited Partnerships.
David Long, well. So you've heard a little bit about David in his early days. I'm really, at this point, an inside baseball guy. I've been on the board 20 years. So I thought I'd bring you a little bit of reality. So when we came time to have a new CEO, chairman of Liberty, pretty important decision. This is one heck of a company, and leadership has always been a really important driver to how the business is operated. So we had 5 or 6 great candidates, although, you know, David was the favorite. Each of the candidates put a letter together, why they wanted the job, what their qualifications were, how those qualifications tied back to Liberty's future and all that. And all of a sudden, David sends in his introduction and his claim to be the new leader of Liberty, and this is what it is. We're sitting in the boardroom and going, what the hell is this? What is this? But that's David's introductory letter to the board of why he should be the next CEO, chairman of Liberty. We were just a tiny bit taken aback. Now, you look at the picture on the left, that's what David looked like. That was his hairdo when he applied to be the CEO and chairman. I want you to look at that carefully. because he changed that look. You know, you can take the boy out of Liverpool, but you can't take Liverpool out of the boy. He changed to the white hair. That's all a fake, by the way. He changed to the white hair as a fake, so he looked like a barrister from London and would all think this is a really cool guy, right? But that's his hairdo. If with a little bit of work, we could get him back to that in a heartbeat. By the way, the two pictures on the right, so Steph, as you know, in his office is a beautiful picture of you and the kids in the middle. I went into his office the other night and I took these two pictures. The pictures of the family are 8 by 10. These are 20 by 30 right next to him. So every morning, David gets up and kind of looks at himself and in the view of, that's the Liverpool kid. So now you move on to the meeting and the process. And again, this is inside baseball. I've been told there's no Security and Exchange reporters here tonight. So we bring in the executives and they meet with the leadership team. And they come in and they're all got, you know, they look great and they talk great. David does his Prince Charles thing. and he walks in the room looking like this, and we're all going, what is this all about? And he then proceeds to tell us how Prince Charles will take the British Empire to the next level, just like he will take Liberty Mutual to the next. But think about a room of 12, you know, board members, and David comes in with his medals, David comes in with his white hair, and we're going, what is this guy all about? So our next introduction to David is kind of telling us that this is a really different culture. This is a different kind of guy. This is a Liverpool guy from the start to the finish. But you know, as I mentioned, there was no choice. David was the odds-on favorite at the start, the middle, and the end. But we thought when he got to be the CEO or the chairman, you know, he'd kind of bring it back a little bit to Bostonian. That's our first board meeting. I looked at that and I thought to myself, this guy is the king. He is the king of Liberty Mutual. There will never be another president. There'll never be a CEO. By the way, he made us all genuflect as we're getting up on the stage. But that's the rig he showed up with at the very first board meeting. That's the board and the management team of Liberty Mutual. So again, you can take the boy out of Liverpool, but Liverpool ain't coming out of the boy. That's for sure. That's David. You know, now all you spin it forward, and this is a picture of David, and he, as you point out, Joe, he really wanted this job badly. The fact of the matter is I had a slide in here, so now that David's kind of run through and now he's off doing his own thing, the people in the group probably don't know that David has led the charge to have nude beaches at Nantucket. I had a different slide here, but the emu did not want to be seen without his jacket on, so we had to replace this slide to make it work. But this is the Nantucket that we all know and love, except now none of us can wear a bathing suit thanks to David's great efforts in Nantucket, making sure that it could all work. We'll go back to that one, I guess. So now we got a guy who's running one of the most important companies in Boston, one of the most important companies in the U.S. He's really got the Liverpool in him to start to finish. And where are we today? Well, I did want to take a moment to be a little bit serious about culture. You know, there's an expression in business that culture trumps strategy every time. And I would tell you that the culture of Liberty Mutual, entrepreneurial, we'll get it done, we'll drive the business, I care for my customers. When our customers need help, we're there. And you add that to the community involvement you've heard about from others, that's David's legacy. And it's a legacy that we in Boston are incredibly proud of, incredibly necessary to make all this work. So in wrapping up a little bit, Emu called me tonight, and he did ask me to make a pitch. For those of few people in the room that don't have Liberty Mutual as your insurance company, Emu's ready to take your call in the morning, because at this point, you know, the basic claim is only buy the insurance that you need, and that's Emu's commitment. David, I'm proud to be your friend.
Boy, I did want to ask you a question about that emu, but we can talk later. You know, what do you think, group? You think Liverpool has a chance to pull this out tonight? Our guy from Liverpool? Okay, now we don't want to endorse any sibling rivalry here, but let's get ready to bring out David's fellow Liverpool Football Club teammate. Please welcome his older brother, Steve Long. And don't forget, Steve moved to the U.S. on a soccer scholarship to Hartwick College. Huh? Sound familiar? And he also played professionally with the Pennsylvania Stoners before starting his career in packaging. Please welcome Steve Long.
Are you explaining stuff to me again? I'm the older brother. I'm the older brother. Now, the reason I did that was because there are two teams in Liverpool, which I'm explaining to them now, Dave, okay? Is that okay? CEO, chairman of the board, whatever you are. Insurance Mahatma. Oh my God. There are two teams in Liverpool. One is Liverpool, owned by John Henry, wealthy man. Invest, please, please, please. The second team is my lowly team, Everton. Now the reason, thank you. An Evertonian here, God bless. Now the reason I have to do that is Tim mentioned about the sisters. Now the sisters happen to own season tickets to Everton, the other team in Liverpool. And if I were to put that red scarf on, my life would not be worth living. Because they hate Liverpool. I don't mean dislike, I mean hate Liverpool. By the way, Tim, that big brawl that Tim saw, my sisters described it as two mates hitting each other with handbags, okay? Big brawl. Oh, yeah. They told me I could insult anybody I wanted, so let me get started. You're all insurance executives or something like that. We are from Liverpool. Small note to the band. You saw the signs, the Beatles, okay? They wrote a couple of songs. They even had a couple of hits. You know, She Loves You, Yeah, Yeah, Yeah. The Long and Winding Road. Country music. Well, anyway, I think you'll agree the bar has been set very high by our toasters tonight. Thanks, guys. It's about to get a whole lot lower, okay? It's coming down. Behind every great man, you know, is a great woman. Steph's not here, but Steph, I feel your pain. 42 years of knowing this man. Horrible, horrible. You couldn't find somebody with more potential at hard work. There were plenty of guys there. Unbelievable. Anyway, but dare I say it, behind every great man is also the troublesome brother. Moi. Let me digress in case you don't know what I'm talking about. Jimmy Carter, Billy Carter. Who didn't drink a Billy beer? Anyone? Okay. Bill Clinton. Roger Clinton. Who doesn't want to be a drunk country and western singer? Joe Biden. Oh, I'll leave that. I forgot I'm in Massachusetts. Yeah, I said it. We're not alone, even the British. King Charles, oh. Prince Andrew, oh boy, oh boy.
Can you just get the photo off?
No. Prince William. Prince Harry, he's a comer, he's an up-and-comer, okay? It doesn't seem that long ago that we were sitting in Liverpool, and I said to Dave, come to America, go to college, and then follow me. The streets are paved with corrugated boxes. And you said, no. I want a career in something interesting and exciting, like insurance. How did that work out for you?
Still working on it.
He never listens. We could have owned an NFL team by now. It would have been great. I know what you're thinking. What a privilege to be here tonight to honor my brother. Frankly, makes me sick. How many awards can one person get? Aspire, MGH, Liberty, Hartwick, Ellis Island something or whatever. Okay, it never stops. I went into the Starbucks in Newton. This morning. And there I saw the plaque. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm killing myself. Barista of the month, David H. Long. Makes me sick. Apparently, Dave recently retired. Money's a bit tight, and the 401k has been taking a beating in the market. Plus, Stephanie wants him out the house. Okay. I was thinking of a saying, show me the boy at 7 and I will show you the man. Now, this was attributed to the Greek philosopher Aristotle. You're all smart people here, I know you know that, right? But actually, everyone in Liverpool knows it came from a Liverpool docker, Harry Bottle, who would make this comment to our Uncle Huey. I'm doing that just to throw in Uncle Huey, okay? There you go. But you're sitting there all cocky right now, aren't you? Oh, yes, I went there. You should be in fear. The sisters who you've heard about, their contribution to my slideshow cannot be underestimated. I just want to point out that some of these other Photoshop things you've seen, this is not the case. These photographs are from the Long Library and are original. No Photoshopping for us. I mean, do we look like the Kardashians? No. Okay, let's get the cute one out of the way. Okay. Can I stop now? It makes me sick looking at it. It's unbelievable. All you see here, my friends, is a future Scouse derelict. That's it. That's also what we call Liverpudlians. Now, let me just make a point here. Yes, this is a First Holy Communion photo. And that angelic face in the back row, circled, is Dave. And it is angelic. And yes, the arrow in the front is pointing to a nun. Not a fake nun, a real nun. Get ye to confession and mass, you heathen. Your great-grandmother burnt down a church with candles lighting them for you, and where are you today? Nowhere. It's a bit of an inside joke, but nevertheless. Here we go, Mr. Diversity himself. Helping his little sister Chris on her bike. But don't be fooled, I know the full story. And I'm going to share it with you. He is actually pushing her in front of a speeding car. Already, Dave knew she was smarter than him. And he's always the smartest guy in the room. Oh, by the way, anyone in here not think that the smartest person in the room? No, I didn't think so, insurance people. Oh, by the way, the smartest guy writes the biggest check. You do know that, right? Okay. Just so you know, I did manage to save my sister. That's what I do, okay? Okay, let's keep this one brief. My first thought on seeing this one was Rodin, the thinker. Close, right?
Are they fuzzy sandals? They are.
They are. Classic footwear. They call them Crocs now. They've made a fortune out of them. We were way ahead of our time. We could have been billionaires selling Crocs. We were wearing them when we were 8. Okay. The other question to ask here is Davis makes this pose regularly during the week, and it's like, who am I picking for my Premier League Fantasy League team this week? Haaland, Kane, Salah? Who is it? Yes, yes, yes. This is body shaming. I don't care. It's who I am. This is a picture of a British summer, 60 degrees and balmy. The water, a tepid 45. Make a note, outdoor pools in England not recommended, okay? So that gets us to what, if you grew up like this, that's why that elliptical's in the infamous Office. You remember that, right? And by the way, we are excellent wallpaper hangers, just in case anyone knows. And yes, ladies, those are Speedos. Here we go. 2 loving brothers. Before I smash him with the boxing glove I have on my right hand, right in the face. It's the truth. Dave's many, many huge decisions as CEO and president, etc., 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 etc. But his most difficult decision, I've got this on good authority, to remove the tie from the Liberty dress code. And here we see the fundamental problem. A tie hermetically sealed to his neck at age 4. You did what? You want what? Who hasn't seen this face? Just throw some grey hair on top of it, okay? Okay? From the boardroom to playing board games. But don't ever, ever steal a Cadbury chocolate bar from him, okay? Because this is what you're going to get. And finally, Hartwick 77 National Championship Soccer Team. Oh, wait. You weren't on that team, were you? That's me up there. You know, suddenly I'm feeling so much better. What a way to end this on a high note, that's what I'm saying. But I'm still puzzled why you're honouring this Liverpool vagrant. Unbelievable. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. At long last, this is the moment we've been waiting for. A big announcement, the awards, and David Long, Executive Chairman of the Board's speech. As you can see, you packed the house tonight, and I am thrilled to announce that we have raised more than $1 million to support Whittier Street Health Center's program and services. I promise you, we will put those dollars to work and do all we can to improve the lives of the individuals and families in our care. So thank you, David and Liberty Mutual. Thank you, Roast Committee. Thank you, Roasters. All of you were funny. And John Kim, now that you've accomplished your bucket list, for doing the video presentation and for your tributes to David. And thank you, my good friend, Karen Holmesward, our referee and roast mistress. We're grateful for you. And our greatest appreciation to all of you, our donors. Thank you. David, please join me at the podium. We have 2 awards to present. We're presenting you the Championship Award for being our champion. You notice there's a soccer ball and a football, as we would say, in honor of you've scored many goals in your life, professional goals, but your goals of doing good, your goals of being a humanitarian is what we're acknowledging tonight. Thank you for being our champion of health equity and social justice. And then we have another award for you that will be presented. You saw Angel and Everest in the video, and they're presenting you with this award. We'll take a picture. Let's all.
So too late, I was jotting notes down. It's too late for my pen now. Thanks, Frederica, and thank you, I think, to my roasters. I was expecting you to be, I don't know, a little wittier. I can't believe Tim went for the pickles. So, a couple of things. One, there's only one thing worse than pickles, and that's pickle juice. Just to give you an idea of how much I hate pickles. Do you know the difference between a pickle and a bowling ball? If I had to, I think I could probably swallow a bowling ball. And it was awesome to be here. I didn't realize up until I got here that I was going to have to get up and make some remarks, not about Whittier, which I will in a second, but to sort of come back and have a go at the folks who made fun of me. And I'll start with Frederica, who was the only person who was nice to me. And I overheard a conversation between Frederica and Tim earlier on the night, and Tim sort of looked at us slyly and said, "There's not as much coverage as you think there is." And Frederica sort of nodded, and I hate to break the news to them, but Tim was talking about an insurance policy, and Frederica was talking about a hospital robe. I have finally come across a man who's envious of my mullet in Joe Nolan. It hasn't happened before. I can't deny it, but I'm not proud of it. And so I'm happy that Joe shared that with everybody. I've actually learned a lot from Joe. He's a very intelligent man. You wouldn't think so from his jokes, but he actually is. And ever since I got on the board at Eversource, he's taught me a couple of things. One, it doesn't matter who they are or what they do. He can tell you how many of them it's going to take to change a light bulb. He also warned me never to open my electric bill and my water bill on the same day. I did, and I was shocked. Oh, that's a bad one. And then I'm always happy to see my brother here, my adopted brother. He doesn't know that, but for two reasons. One, he is my brother, and I love to spend time with him. And two, with that accent, no one can understand a word he says, so it doesn't really matter. And then finally, Frank, a word of warning for you. I know you know this, but neither Steve nor Tim nor Joe Nolan partake in alcohol. And I'll have you know, I'm the man that drove them not to drink. And I've got you in my sights. But it was fun. Most importantly, to my friends at Whittier Health Center, I'm deeply touched by this, I guess, so-called honor. I've had the privilege of knowing Frederica Williams for a long time, and let me tell you, a few things I've come to learn about her. One is, you shouldn't take no for an answer. But the other thing I've learned is that Frederica is tireless and tenacious. She's intensely committed to the health of this community, and she's relentless in her pursuit of comprehensive quality care for low-income communities. Unquestionably, in Boston, we live among the best and the highest quality medical and research institutions in the world, and people come here from around the world to get treatment. But given the very nature and structure of the healthcare system itself, and the substantial challenges inherent to living in poverty, many people in our own communities don't have access to the care they need and deserve. That's not the case for the Whittier patients. Whittier's patients receive a kind of care that many have never known. Primary care services, providers who speak their language, comprehensive, one-time, one-stop service, the opportunity to develop a rapport with a healthcare provider, continuity of care, dozens of ancillary services from asthma to anti-violence programs, and empowering tools and truths about preventing disease. So in a very big way, day in and day out, Whittier Street Health Center chips away at the boulder of health disparity. A disparity that drives dramatic differences in risk factors for disease, a disparity that exacerbates differences in mortality rates, a disparity that impedes preventative care, and a disparity that's at the heart of why we're all here today. So I'm deeply touched to be among so many good friends, some former friends, and colleagues, and to receive an award from an organization and individuals for whom I hold in such high esteem. Tonight's a very special night for me, and one I'll long remember, so thank you all.
Congratulations to that young man from Liverpool. And thanks to all who participated in making this evening so special. We hope you enjoyed the evening's event and that you now have a better idea of the great programs and care that Whittier provides to its patients. Let's give one last round of applause to our host, Frederica Williams. Our video presenter, John Kim. And a special thanks to tonight's roasters, Joe Nolan, Tim Sweeney, Frank Doyle, and Steve Long. And we want to thank all of you for coming tonight. We appreciate your support. Good night, and we hope to see you next year.